just steal?
Napkins for the bed.
Bro, it's not even just one, it's a fucking roll, like a big roll.
I can't get enough of it. I swear to God, I'll never fall in love.
Welcome to our second episode of Electric Spark Podcast. We have a special guest today that has started his own business from the ground up. He's been very successful in every business adventure that he's taken so far in his life. Please welcome Mr. Bryan, otherwise known as Stephone, owner of Velvet Property Advisors, LLC.
Mr. Bryan started Velvet Property Advisors, LLC in November 2019. Stephone Bryan has experience in management, business development, and marketing in real estate.
Stephone Bryan provides services to both homeowners and investors in the real estate industry. Okay, please welcome Stephone.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm
Doing
doing
all right?
good.
Good. I'm glad you guys had me on here.
Oh, no problem, dude. Glad for you to come on the podcast. This is first guest, so plenty more to come, and you get to be the first one. So first is the best.
So
Like
they
they always
say.
say.
Yeah, so they say. So please tell us a little bit about yourself and like what you're currently doing.
All right, my name's Stephone Bryan. Currently, I do real estate investing. On the side, I do music marketing. I don't do the. Formerly, I did do. I had a record label. Just small group of artists, and that was some years ago. Doing music is what ended up leading me into real estate, kind of on accident. I got into a point where things became pretty stagnant with music. I had moved down south for basically like a job, working as an A&R for independent music companies and stuff like that. And after a while, I stopped liking what I was doing because I really got to know the business of music. I was really starting to understand, how people were kind of just risking everything to get a potential deal, quote unquote.
Mhm.
And it was a lot more, um, I want to say, devilish in a way than I ever
Why is that?
expected. Well, you would expect that if you go somewhere in a professional setting, and you would expect that everybody practices good business. And
Uh-oh.
when I got there and was seeing how some people are like sharks just
Yep.
waiting on new artists to come in through a door. It was terrible. Legally, I can't say which companies and which
Okay.
people because
Yeah.
I had to sign an NDA with them, a while back.
I
But
feel
there was
like
one oh I'm sorry.
I was just about to say I feel like the entertainment industry is like kind of like that in the beginning. You know what I mean? So I expected it when you said it.
It's weird. It's weird. Like there was times like I had to fly out to LA because the label I worked at was in Georgia. They had a partnership with another major in LA. I had to come out there consult some artists, and literally there was an artist that came in. Um and he didn't have anything. So he was like, "Hey, I'm looking to get a deal." His music was awesome, and the label was hyping him up, like, "Yeah, we'll get you this. We'll put you in the studio, and we'll gift wrap your record." Basically, they was going to package him as and get him ready through artist development, and then really start promoting his music. As soon as he left the room, I could literally hear someone say, "Oh, we're just going to take everything he got," and I'm like,
What?
"Oh." I was like,
Really?
"Yeah." So I was like, this ain't
Nope.
for me."
I definitely feel like that happens a lot, especially like with like young artists. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Because they sign like they're like, this is my only shot. This is like my key to like break out in the music industry, and then they're like stuck in like a 15-year contract that they want to get out of, and
Yeah.
it's kind of sad, lucky.
it's terrible. Like, people don't read. Like, I understand that 360 deals can help, but they also can be harmful, especially if people aren't having good legal representation. And it's just like, why go in a room with no help and take such a huge risk if you don't understand the legalities and language of a contract? Because some people think it's so clear cut and black and white, and it's like, oh no, there's some words in there that'll take you for everything if you're not
Yeah.
paying attention.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes
Percentages.
to royalties and their masters and stuff like that.
Did you like leave the music industry just because of like the setting you were in, or was it just the general like I wasn't happy? I don't think I'd be
Um,
happy doing this anymore.
well, with them, I left that company and then started doing my own thing because before I had my own setup back in Indiana where, I was trying to get local talent to, put in on their marketing, trying to
Mhm.
teach them how to, market themselves, make a business for themselves and, do that kind of thing and getting them to understand royalties, masters, and how to market themselves. With getting signed, contacting booking agents and stuff like that, getting
Mhm.
on the venues. And somebody had reached out to me during an email. The label I ended up working for in Atlanta, and I was like, oh, I'll take that opportunity and go down there. And I mean, it was fun, getting to do some other stuff and travel. But
Mhm.
the other stuff I saw in the business, I was like, that's not fun.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's not fun at all.
no. So I left that alone and just started, focusing with independent marketing. And then I met a guy that was doing both music and real estate. And he was the one that started teaching me about, he was like, hey man, we can come out and flip houses with no money. And I was like,
What?
you lying. I'm like,
Oh,
we
so
ain't
it's
about
good
to flip it.
paying.
Yeah, I'm like, we're not about to flip any house with
Yeah.
no money. What are you talking about? So I ignored him for the longest. And finally one day I was like, all right, clients are, getting, money's coming in real slow. I was like, all right, I want to do something different. So then I just rode with him in the car one day, called him up. I was like, hey man, can you show me what you really do? Because I'm not believing this. You can, flip money or flip houses with no money, excuse me. And I rode with him. He was doing this thing he called, driving for dollars, was putting houses on a list that he thought was just terrible looking. And then he would call them and get a deal, within 20, 30 minutes of calling him because he'd be on the phone for a while. And I'll be looking at him like, all right, you got to show me how to do this now. And that's how I ended up getting started. So then I worked for him for quite some time and then brought it up to Indiana. And that's when I started around November of 2019 of when I really started hammering out things and trying to figure it out. I didn't incorporate officially until April of 2020.
Oh, so like about a little over a year from
Right.
now. Oh,
And
I've always wanted to like flip houses. Like my grandma used to do that. She used to buy a house and renovate it. And we walked into this one house. It's like a town next to me. And we walked in and I was like, there's no way that you have a vision for this. Like, absolutely no way. Like, I can't see it. And it actually turned out to be like really nice. Like, and my friends came over for like a birthday party and they're like, is your grandma rich? And I was like, no. No, she just flipped this house. Like, she did it, like, slow, like, so she did it within, like, a couple years, but, I was just like, I'm surprised because when I first walked in, there was no way that you were gonna even do anything remotely nice to it.
What I'm seeing a lot now, people are entrepreneurs that don't go to college and they make more money than college students that have just graduated. So that's a big
Yeah,
thing that I've, if listeners are listening, you don't really need a college degree to make what, six figures roughly.
I agree. Right now I'm going to finish school in December, and I'm going for business administration and
Mhm.
management. But the thing is, I'm not learning anything. And I'll be honest, like, yeah, I'll read my book, read the chapters, do the quizzes, do my assessments, and I'm getting, I'm passing, I'm doing great.
Mhm.
But the thing that I try to teach other, aspiring entrepreneurs or business owners is how to get business credit and things like that. And there was a time I came into class and was asking my professor, and I was like, "When are you going to teach us about getting funding for your business and stuff like that and business credit?" And he was like, "Well, we don't really go over things like that." And I'm like, "So what am I spending money here for?"
Yeah, I understand
Yeah,
that.
I'm getting my master's in business administration. So I just also feel like it like has to do with like what you're gonna use it towards. You know what I mean? Like for like an
Right,
entrepreneurial standpoint, I can totally see like where you're coming with like because we don't talk about like how to get the funds to like start a business. It's mainly just like managing, I guess, if that
right.
makes sense. So I definitely think it like comes into play like what you want to do with it. Because like I don't want to like start a business. I don't like I have no idea where I would even start with that. Um, but I think like the things that I'm learning would help me like work at a company, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So I
Because I
definitely
feel
think it
like,
depends on like what you're going for.
Do you have any advice to give to people who want to start their own business? And what are some things you have avoided that you suggest people avoid? So,
my advice, definitely starting out, is research your market, know your pricing, learn how to price whatever you're selling, whether it's your products or your services, and get to know your competitors. And the reason I say that is because if, like, for example, if you're going to go out here and sell, I mean, I don't know, tennis rackets,
mhm.
and you have 6 7 competitors and you're not even looking at the market, how are you going to know what's going to make you money, and how are you going to know how to stay in business?
Mhm.
um the other thing is seek out legal counsel first, as well. Learn how to structure your business properly. You don't There's services out here I would stay away from that, charge you for getting your DUNS number and your EIN. You can get that easily by just making a phone call or getting on the IRS website, getting that for free. But definitely, knowing your market and learn how to build business credit. And there's a lot of free ways people can show you how to build business credit instead of you having to go out and buy your products and you're coming out of pocket for every little thing. So you're going to be spread so thin, it's going to be hard for you to focus to, sell yourself and your business.
Yeah, I agree with that because I've ran into that a couple of times, even what we're talking about right now. I mean, I've been spending a lot of money on editors and stuff like that. So,
I
Yeah.
definitely think looking at demographics is a major like step. I think every like class that I've ever taken is like know your
Yeah.
demographics, know what you're
Yes.
selling, and know who you're selling to.
yeah,
It's like one of
Yes.
those main things that you have to know, even starting out.
Because that's
Even if
something I
it's
have to
something
take a look
small
at in
like
real estate.
chapstick. Oh,
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that.
it's something you have to look for even selling houses.
Yeah, so when I have to look at, certain markets, like for example, I don't look in anything in Texas, and the reason for that is they have a non-disclosure law where they don't have to disclose on, documents what a house was bought for and sold for. And other investors, they'll eat that up. They'll deal with that headache. But me, I'm like, I need to know what I'm looking at. I like to look at numbers. I like to be analytical about what
Mhm.
I'm looking at. And then I have to take a look at the market, whether if there's 10,000 people in a market, 40,000, 400,000. I got to know what I'm looking into, and then finding zip codes of what's selling. What's a hot market, basically, what's
Mhm.
selling faster and what's selling slower. Because when I did start out, I lost a lot of money. I'm going to be honest. I didn't, my first deal came in around 30, 60 days, but the first deal that I got that happened in like 30 days, I lost money on that deal because I didn't know what I was doing. Because when I was with the guy, I paid attention for a little bit, only up until I saw where the check would come in. And after that, I
Yeah.
was like, I'm good, I'm gone. And then
Tell
I
me
started trying to,
nothing else.
Yeah,
yeah, I was
just
like, I don't
wait.
want to
Just
know nothing.
just give me the check.
Yeah,
I saw
I was
the
guys.
check, let's go. And then I really had to slow down and learn that, okay, I'm in somewhere, um, I'm in a, what do you want to say, industry where it's extremely sensitive. And at first, I was being insensitive to people's needs and was just worried about a check. And then I really had to sit down and realize, okay, I have to help people, but how can I help people? And then I learned that, okay, if I can help them from not destroying their credit, then let's come up with a solution. So some people will be like, oh, well, what you do is predatory. And it's like, no, my main goal is, helping people not having to file bankruptcy
Hmm.
and, having their house go on their credit and destroy their credit completely and things like that. So we give them options, but you can't make people sign anything.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's very
yeah.
true. Do you think it's easier to start your own business today versus like let's say like a couple years ago, especially with like social media being a bigger thing than it was?
Yeah, I definitely do. It seems like nowadays you could form your business, get you some logos drawn up, create their social channels, slap it together, get people to start liking your pages, and all of a sudden you're starting to get customers. It's like it's kind of ridiculous, you know. I kind of wonder how people that started businesses in the '90s versus today feel like. You know, I wonder how much of a grind it was without social media.
That is true.
I was about to say it
But
probably was hell.
yeah.
I
I
can't
also feel
imagine.
like I also feel like it's like a hit or miss. Like there are
Right,
a lot of pros to like starting your own business nowadays, but there's like also a lot of cons,
you're
especially
right.
like social media.
Definitely right about that. Yeah, and especially with some people, they do put. Um, I try to, like again, like I try to tell my nephew, don't put your personal stuff on your business social media pages or even your personal pages because you got customers and people that look at that kind of stuff.
So our second topic that we were going to bring up was about 12 business operation trends that finance experts say are here to stay. So we're only going to be discussing like 5 out of the 12 trends. So the 5 are higher spending on technology,
Mm,
reconfigured office spaces, critical reviews of procurement practices, cloud-based operational systems, and a multi-pronged approach to employee retention. Um, So for like higher spending on technology, it's about like companies have to invest more into making like work from home or like remote work possible for their employees. Um, Personally, I like having like work from home options. Um, I think it's I don't know. I think nowadays there's no reason for you to have to do the exact same work at your office that you can do at home, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah,
I definitely
yeah.
like the option to go to work, but I think some things like you should have the option to do it like at home, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah. I agree as well, and it's like also like I was reading an article randomly on Google. actually, it was a documentary I think on Hulu. They were talking about how they don't do like 9 to 5 jobs. You go there, do whatever you need to get done. You can leave whenever. And if you have a sick day or something like that, vacation, you don't have to tell them. Just say I'm not going to be there, and that's all they need to know. And they literally work from home for like maybe they say they're productive is like 5 hours of a shift is when you're most productive, and then after that you just become lazy and like get slower. Or the average person that works that 9 to 5.
I agree because I don't believe that you have to work 8 to 10 hours a day. And even with what I do,
Mm-hmm.
I try to utilize software to where the rest of my day is freed up. Because honestly, when you start out and if you don't have any software for what I do, you're going to be spending a lot of time looking through records, making phone calls, looking through records again, more
Mm-hmm.
phone calls, and then you're gonna be spending 30, 40 hours worth of work on the most simple, stuff that needs to get knocked out the way. But I mean, some people do enjoy it. I don't know why, but I guess that's them.
Yeah.
Me, I want stuff to, I want to be able to put my data in, go run it, be done, go do other stuff.
I saw this, I think it was on TikTok, and this guy, he like moved to like New Zealand or something to work, and he was like asking like, how many sick days do you get? And they're like, what do you mean? And he was like, how many sick days am I allowed? And they're like, when you're sick, you just stay at home. And he was like, there's no like limit to how many sick days you get. And they're like, no, like when you're sick, you're just sick, like you just stay at home. And he just thought that was the craziest thing, because he's like, well, in the US, you get like 4 sick days in 1 year.
Yeah,
Yep.
you
You know what I
can't get
mean? Like,
sick for 10
yeah.
days.
And then he's like, and then you have to take up like vacation days when you're sick.
Yep.
Yep.
And he was just so like shocked that like you like when you're sick, you can just stay at home. Like, I would so much rather work for a company where they like offer work from home options, where if I'm sick, I can just stay at home and do that, versus like a company that gives me 4 sick days.
Yeah, I got a brother in Germany that pretty much said the same thing. He doesn't have to work 40-hour work weeks. And I was like, excuse me?
Yeah, like,
Yeah, I wish
what?
that.
Yeah, and for days that he's worked over and overtime and stuff, they would reward him by giving him more time off, paid time off. And I was like,
It's like it's like when we do a good job, they're like, "Can you come in more? Can
Yeah.
we give you more
Yeah.
work for you to do?"
can you work 70 hours this
Yeah.
week
Like, "Oh,
and not go home?
yeah, you did fantastic. Let me just give you 40 pages to work on. Like, this is your reward."
The work
It's like
system here is
crazy.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Very true. Like,
I don't
other
like the
countries,
70-hour work weeks.
yeah,
No,
other
I don't.
countries, they're like, "You get 30 minutes for a lunch break, we get 2 hours."
Yeah.
And I'm
I'm like,
like,
what the hell?
was I born in the wrong country?
Yeah.
Okay, and so then the next one for the 12 trends that we were talking about was reconfigured office spaces. So if Eric, you want to explain what that is?
Yeah. So that one was about uh, reconfiguring commercial office space, and how we're seeing that since COVID, we're seeing not many office spaces are trending, and that some are as well um, rising in price because of that. And they're saying that in the future there might not be much office space left that people want because they're doing work from home, obviously, and they're saying as well to configure in your budget to make sure that you have spending money elsewhere, and also if you need an office that you're going to be using it like 100% and not just like doing halfway of people working from home. So
I do the co-working thing. So when I need to meet up with clients, depending on where I'm at, because I go state to state sometimes, and I do like the co-working spaces.
mhm.
I kind of like I kind of like the option to have an office. even if you're not there all the time, because sometimes it's just easier to like work by yourself in an environment where you don't have to worry about like my dog barking, or like someone like opening the front door or walking outside. Like I don't have to worry about any of that. But I think it was maybe I was like watching TV show or something where they did these office spaces where you had like your own desk, but it was like placed differently. So it was
Mhm.
kind of like we're all in this huge room. I kind of want to say like a gym or something, but obviously bigger than that. And then you have your own desk, but you're like strategically placed so you could still go talk to someone else. And it's not like a closed box, if that makes
Oh
sense.
Yeah,
yeah.
Does that
cubicle.
make sense? Yeah, it's not a
Oh
cubicle. It's
yeah. I
not a
hated
cubicle.
cubicles.
Well, no,
I would
I
not
know
want to
you
work.
said a box, like you said a box, so
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
not
they
like
get
a
a cubicle.
box, and it's
Yeah,
not like where you have your own personal, like, I shut the door, I'm locked in kind of thing. It's kind of where, like, I'm here and you're just, like, strategically placed. So you have that separate area to do your own thing and work on whatever you want to work on, but you're not, like, enclosed. And I think it kind of helps with, like, staying focused, or, you know what I mean? So
Right.
you're not, like, staring at the wall, like, oh, I'm this square area just working on what I'm working on, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And it has, you can have the option to be like, oh, so and so's there, I can go ask them for help and that kind of stuff.
yeah.
I kind
Yeah,
of
I
like
worked at
that
this.
setup.
I worked at a car dealership where you know how it's open when you first walk in, and you had like
Hmm.
the little half-looking cube.
Oh
I
yeah,
hated that.
the
I was like, I
offices.
can't do this. Yeah, because everybody would be like staring and looking at you like, and I'd be like, what are y'all looking at? Like, I'm just trying to get same stuff y'all trying to get done. I do like the bigger cubicles, but I did. But my
I don't
problem
want to
too
be in a
was I
cubicle.
always came out of my like office and would come out and start talking to everybody instead of doing paperwork.
Yeah. Like, I like the option of, like, being able to go into a place, like, and be secluded. But maybe if it was like just a general, like kind of like libraries where you can be in the open setting and work on your
Yeah,
stuff, but then there's cubicles if you want to be by yourself. Maybe
yeah,
that kind of setup would be cool.
Right.
Um, better than any office space I know.
Yeah.
yeah. I was gonna say that you're like locked in, and it's just I was in
Yeah.
had an interview the other day, and he barely could shut the door because it was so enclosed. He's like, can you just scoot over a little bit? I was like, I guess this is your interview, so I mean, I'm trying to get in here, and he's like, okay, I can finally shut the door. It was like literally had like no space. It was like
Oh my, I can't
it
even
was so
imagine.
awkward.
Okay, so the next one is a critical reviews of procurement practices. If you want to talk about it, Eric.
Yeah, yeah. So what they're saying that part was look over your goods and services more daily than weekly. Because a lot of business they'll look at like at the end of the month or weekly, but they're saying you need to do it daily because to ensure your checks and balances that are correct, and also make sure you have enough profit for loss as well, to calculate through the month, um, and stay on it. And a lot of businesses don't do that, and then they get in debt, and then they're just like, we got to cut hours, we got to do this,
Yeah.
cut products, and so that's why they were saying you need to do it daily and make sure that you got enough product in there for the week. Just like I had, like where I work, we had literally, I work at a grocery store, um, and they literally ran out of water, like jugs of 24 packs of water, because they didn't order it. Because we had, since the COVID, a lot of students didn't go to school, so they didn't order as much because they were like, oh, well, there's not going to be that many people going back to school. But we had everyone going back to school this year, so they counted probably for the little, like the elementary and like to high school, but they didn't count the college kids. So everyone was just like, where's all this water at? Do we have a storage? I'm like, no, it's just they didn't order enough, or they just didn't put a bigger enough order, just like other products we had in store. We were completely like wiped off like the shelves, just like when COVID first started. Like
See,
there, it's all gone.
I don't understand that because personally, I feel like I would just review how much I sell like daily. I don't see a point in doing it like weekly, especially like at a grocery store.
Yeah.
Like whenever we worked for like whenever we had to like sell merchandise and stuff for a hockey team, we went over that daily.
Yeah.
So it just baffles me to think that
Yeah.
people do it weekly,
Yeah,
especially at
I've
like a grocery store.
I've seen a lot of companies that have done it weekly, and old systems die, and you gotta ramp it up and get with new things because people nowadays they're aggressive when it comes to buying certain kind of products. Like
Oh yeah.
like when what is it when it thunderstorm? No, when it snowstorms, what happens? Milk, bread, and eggs go out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't nobody make a sandwich anymore.
Yeah.
Can't even make smoothies or nothing. It's like, dang. And then toilet paper is gone. Or like
Yeah.
when COVID started, toilet paper.
Oh
Couldn't find it.
yeah.
Well,
Couldn't find
I
this
know.
guy,
Hand
this guy,
sanitizer too. Hand
yeah,
sanitizer too.
it.
this guy
I have
apparently
this I
he
have
was.
this huge I have this huge bottle of hand sanitizer in my car, and my friend was like, "Why do you have this huge hand sanitizer in your car?" And I was like, "There's this thing called COVID. Like everybody wants hand sanitizer. Like I've had this for the entire time."
I had Febreze and like Lysol waiting on people to get it in the car. As soon as they get in the car, I'm like, psh, hitting everybody with it. Like, I don't know what you've been doing, but you're going to take
Yeah.
this.
It's better than being sick.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And then the last or the fourth one was cloud-based operating systems. Basically, like it says, you always should have a backup software just in case your data goes up like off the rim, or like your computer's fried. You have your backup cloud, just like the phones. Like almost every phone nowadays has a
Yes.
backup. So they were saying you need to have that, even though it's probably gonna be a little expensive. It's worth it at the long run.
So true. Because I've had
I definitely get that.
problems with that before where I relied solely on my computer to store everything. And I did have cloud systems, but I didn't know nothing about it, so I wouldn't use it until one day one of my computers took a dump, couldn't restore anything. I was hurt.
Oh, I'm praying that will never happen to me.
I was hurt.
I totally get that. Like, I think the worst thing is like not having a backup to like, especially like something that you need. It's kind of like when you are like writing paper and you don't hit save, and then your computer dies, and then it just like is gone, and you're like, where'd it go? Like I just wrote a 10-page paper and it's all gone. You know what I mean?
That happened to me in school
It's
before.
sad. It makes you absolutely want to cry.
I think it was like this year I went to some of the summer classes too. And I have this laptop. I have other stuff I can use too, but for some reason it's like, no, I'm gonna get this Dell. I ordered the Dell. They sent me the wrong battery, so now I got to basically plug the Dell into the outlet and stuff. I was writing this paper, and for whatever reason, I thought a bug got on me or something, and I flicked the power cord out of the laptop. And my paper was gone. I was hurt.
Jesus.
So
Oh,
now I
that's
start
sad.
using everything. Yeah, I love cloud stuff now. I'm like I don't know where I'll be without it. Especially when you want to be on the go and you need to meet up with clients, you just pull it up and it's there.
That's very true. I didn't realize, I guess recently I didn't realize that whatever I upload to like iCloud, like I can literally access it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I didn't realize like I guess how important that was until like I needed something. And then I was like, oh, I could literally look it up and like find it. Like it's not gone forever.
Yeah. I love iCloud now. Before I didn't
Mhm.
understand it. It's like I ain't gonna use this. Now I'm like, put it on there.
Yep. Always put it on. So the last one, the fifth one, the multi approach to employee retention. what they were saying you should do is remote from work, like we talked about, work life balance, employer to employee engagement. So, like, basically, like most of the marketing people I've talked to, they do like go out to bowling every Friday night, or they do like every Friday they take their coworkers somewhere fun so they can relax and like interact with coworkers. Um, do some like promotions, so like in goal achievements. So, like, say you sell a house today, you get like $1,000 bonus or something like that.
Right.
So stuff like that, they're saying you should have in order to retain people, and which I've always encouraged that, and I've done as a manager as well. Especially the promotion and just giving them bonuses. So like if they sign up like 50 people for rewards cards, I mean, I would give them like a 25 gift card to wherever they want to do. So, and
Yeah,
encourage them to work more.
I
I
definitely.
sorry, you can
No,
go.
sorry. No,
Go
I
ahead.
was just choking.
Oh.
Don't die over there.
I was gonna say, I think the most important thing out of like keeping employees on would probably be like a work-life balance, because I feel like half the time, if you're always at work and you're always like required to be there, I think the worst part is not having the option to have a personal life. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I think, like,
Yeah.
because, like, especially when you're young, it's like you're supposed to work all the time and get this out of the way. So then when you're older, you can have the time to do whatever you want. But it's also like, I'm in my 20s. I want to be able to work and also have a personal life to where I can do all the fun stuff. Like, I don't want to wait until
yeah,
I'm like 65 and retired to book a random trip to Florida. Like, I want to be able to
right.
do that now while I'm young enough. But also,
Yeah.
like, I like working. I like going into work. I like making money. I like doing all that kind of stuff. Like, I want to have the balance.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, with people that have worked for me, I've definitely, set it to where with the software that we use, it makes it so much easier. It's like if they work for an hour or two, hey, that's fine. And, as long as stuff was done. And,
Yeah.
but other than that, I was giving them, like vacations to use. So, there was this thing that I did where if like somebody hit like 10 deals in a month, and that's really hard to do. I would send them to like Vegas or Cancun and stuff like that. But other than that, I mean, they could go on. They was literally going on vacation a lot. At one point, I was like,
It's
I need to go too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Higher the
like
raise.
I don't need to go on a vacation all the time. Like, that's not something I need to do every single weekend out of the month. But the one thing I did like about college was we were always looking forward to like fall break, and then it was Christmas break, and then it was spring break. We had those breaks to be able to do something if we want, considering we're constantly like doing schoolwork, we're constantly studying
Yeah,
for exams, we're constantly like running back and forth between jobs, social life, sorority and fraternity life, like back and forth. It's just like the option to be able to have both is like more important than working 9 to 5 every single day and going
I
home because you're
agree.
too exhausted and you want to just like make dinner and go to bed. Like, that's not fun.
Yep.
That's not living life.
Yeah, I agree because other countries are out here working only 30, 33 hours a week. It's even less. And I'm seeing new studies in the US where they're, practicing even the 4-day work week. And I'm like, man, like at one point I worked in a factory where, they did like 4 days for 10 hours. And then you can come in for was it 4 days for 10 hours or 5 days? It's been so long since I've been there, but yeah, it was 4 days for 10 hours, 10 and a half hours. And then you had 3 days off. But 9 times out of 10, they forced us to come in anyway. So,
Right.
Hmm.
No days
See,
off.
yeah, see, like
yeah.
my dad used to have to, they used to have to do like, they'd pick like whichever days that you got off, and he was always like, I want Friday and Saturday off. And then I'll work Sundays because Sundays, a lot of the times, other people want to get off. And he was like, I'd rather get Friday and Saturday off, so at least I have Friday night to go out and do something. You know what I mean? Because then
Hmm.
they'd be
Yeah.
like, I want you to work Friday and Saturday, and then you can have Sunday and Monday off. And it's like, what do you expect me to do on
Yeah,
Sunday and Monday? Like, what am I gonna go do? Like, how am I gonna have a semblance of a life if I have
that's
a
that,
Sunday and a Monday off? Like, it makes no
that
sense.
that's exactly the problem I had. I had to have Sunday and Mondays off too, and I was like, oh no. I'm like, because you want to go out to the bar or something, and then
Yeah.
you go
Yeah.
out, and there's nothing but old people in there, and it's like I'm not in here to play crochet and knit some sweaters. Like, don't get me wrong, I love talking to older individuals, but at the same time, it's like you in your 20s, like you're like I want to go do stuff,
Yeah. I
and a lot of
Yeah. At
agree.
times,
least give me a Thursday off.
yeah, something
Like,
Thursday, Friday, throw me a bone.
Yeah. And our third and final topic that we have, it's coming from Cigna.com. The article is about why businesses are using more social media panels. And the four main points they had was it builds prestige, it boosts viewership, it's very inexpensive, boosts your profile quickly, which I agree with all on those four fronts. You could literally post, like you guys were talking about music earlier, you can
yeah.
post on SoundCloud free. It's free to sign up, and you can go viral within maybe a couple of days. And also TikTok now, so like that is
Sheesh.
a big game changer. And I agree with that. With all businesses should have that. And also like you were talking about earlier about how you started on Facebook with their business profile, and then you told people to like it, and then that traction and got more clients. So I agree with
Yeah.
that statement.
I like a lot of musicians now have been like posting their new and upcoming songs on TikTok. And that's how like I know these artists is like through TikToks like that just
Yeah.
randomly popped up on my For You page. And then I follow them and then I add all their songs on Spotify and everyone's like, "Oh, who's this?" And I'm like, "Oh, this person on TikTok." Like just randomly popped up and then they have like a huge following. It's kind of crazy to think about.
TikTok's algorithm is insane. It's
I
like
don't I don't understand it. It's like
it's
I could be in the worst mood possible and then it would send me all these sad TikToks and I'm like crying my eyes out. I'm like,
oh,
how did I get here? And then it's like, oh, I'm in a great mood. Or I start texting someone new and it's like this love algorithm and I'm like, get me out of here. It's just
yeah.
like it always knows my mood, I swear on my life. It's like, man, my FBI agent's good. You know.
I tell.
We have a new segment that we're doing where we ask a few questions that can range from like what's new and upcoming or if you like something versus something else.
hmm
Basically, random questions that I get stuck in my head, he gets stuck in my head, other people want to know. And then we also have another segment that's called This or That. And then Eric can do the honors of explaining that a little bit.
So this or that is a segment that we came up with. Basically, answer basic questions, kind of like would you rather do. Um, so we'll just go, but today we'll just go into hit or miss. But on some episodes we'll have both this or that or hit or miss, depending on which guest we have on the podcast.
Okay.
So if you need me to repeat it, like if we go a little too fast and you can't understand, please let me know.
Okay.
So sneakers or dress shoes?
Sneakers,
Reality shows or documentaries?
documentaries,
Books or movies?
books.
You guys
Che- Cheeseburger or pizza?
Cheeseburger,
Casual or dressed up?
dressed up,
Letters or emails?
letters,
Watching sports or playing sports?
playing sport,
Starting work late or leaving work early?
leaving work early. I'm always a fan of that.
Yeah.
Same. Video meetings or in-person meetings?
In-person meetings.
Good question. Good answer. A private office or a reserved parking space?
Private office.
Smartest person in the world or richest person in the world?
Smartest person in the world. You can still make money.
That's true.
That's facts. Free travel for 1 whole year or free lodging for 5 years?
What's lodging?
Ask
basically,
Eric.
basically, it's like going to hotels, and
Lodge.
like
I'll take free
Yeah.
lodging for 5 years.
yeah,
Really, I would rather travel for 1 full year.
and
Ye-
you still have to pay the
Yeah,
hotel, so
like,
you
No,
have to pay a
it
lot
says
more.
free travel for 1 year, so I feel like free travel,
but you're
right?
still traveling if you're lodging.
Yeah, but when you have to pay for all the extra stuff that you're
Yeah.
doing,
But
Oh,
lodging,
that's true.
like
You'd
I
have
mean,
to pay for all the extra stuff. But
yeah, like
free
the
travel,
gas,
I wouldn't have to pay for any of that for 1 full year.
yeah. So it's
So you
just
just,
hmm.
for
I have to
five
pay for
years, you just wouldn't have to pay for like hotels and stuff.
yeah.
But
I'll
you'd have
still
to
do
pay for
that.
everything else.
He said I'm still doing that.
I'll still do that.
I'd rather do free travel for 1 year because then I could just drop everything and be like, I'm going to Spain. And then just
True.
backpack. I could backpack anywhere for 1 full year and not have to pay for a single thing.
Listen, I'm not even walking down the block, okay?
Yeah.
Backpack across the
Trusting somebody.
country. I'm not doing it. Like I've seen it on movies, like, okay, I thought about it, but then the times I've had to walk across the city, I was like, you know what? I ain't doing this. Mm.
Aw,
Y'all,
so
everybody
sad.
can backpack. I ain't doing it. I need a scooter, Segway, something, bicycle.
Oh my god. Okay, cats or dogs?
Dogs.
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 Why dogs? I have my dog.
I
He's right
love
here.
dogs. I don't trust cats for nothing. I've had cats. I don't. I'm not. Cats. I don't understand them. I don't trust them. Okay. So this cat I had. This cat loved me to death. Okay. I would get off
Okay.
work. I would come home. It would be like 6, 7 in the morning. You know. I was getting out of the shower, change clothes, get ready for bed. My cat would jump on the bed, and I had this really tall headboard,
Mhm.
and the cat would climb on the headboard and then just jump down and lunge on my face, and I'll be like, Milo, what are you doing? So I'm like fighting with the cat trying to get him off. He would finally get off, and then I'm going back to sleep, and then he would like look at me while he was like trying to creep, and I'm like, Milo, I can see you. What are you doing? So he's just
Creeping.
looking at me while he's doing it, and I'm like, you creep. And if I'll be laying there again, he's like jumping on my face and just like trying to like bear hug me or something. I'm like, what are you doing? You trying to kill me?
Cats give no, like, they don't care about anything.
At all.
That's why
Just,
I think it's funny.
and there'd be times like it was my old apartment when I had this cat. It was an apartment from years ago. I remember one time I was sitting down and just chilling with friends, and next thing you know, my cat just like jumped towards the blinds and started tearing up stuff. And I'm like, what are you on? Like,
Too much
I was
They
like,
cat.
don't care.
they don't. And I
They
called my
have
mom. I was like,
no
you want this
care.
cat?
Like, I don't want it anymore. Please get rid of it.
I was like, after a while, I was like, Mom, come please get this cat, please. She was like, oh, I'll keep him, and I'm like, thank you, because I didn't want to just I didn't want to send him to a
A
humane society or
shelter.
nothing like that.
Aw,
Yeah, so I was like, Mom, come get this cat. You're gonna love
that's
him,
good.
you know.
You're gonna love this psycho cat.
And for some reason, he was really good over there because I
Huh.
would go over,
Right.
see him, and he would just be
Maybe it's
chilling.
you.
Probably
You're the
because I had to work
problem.
long hours.
Yeah.
I think it's because I worked long
There you
hours,
go.
and he was just like anxious when I would get home.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're home now. I'm about to tear up everything.
Everything.
It's like, here we go, round
Yeah,
800. Like, my owner's finally home. Like, let's give him
every
hell.
time. Just sitting there looking at him as he's just, and I'm like, Milo, no,
Don't
do
do
it
it.
every time.
So
Thanks for
anything.
having me on the show, and I really have fun. Anybody out there, if you're trying to start a business, go seek some legal counsel and research the market, please. If you need help, contact me. I don't know, we can talk about some stuff and go from there.
Thank you, Stephone, for coming on to our podcast, and thank you for all the advice that you've given our listeners today. Make sure you check him out on all of his social media platforms, and we'll list them in the description below. Make sure you also follow our social media platforms for updates on our next episode, and I hope that we have sparked some inspiration in you today. Make sure you tune in next week for our next episode. Bye, guys!
That's if you like Disney movies.
I don't like Disney
Marvel?
movies.
Marvel's
I-
in there.
Yeah, Marvel.
I don't like the Marvel movies.
I think we're gonna have to cut this interview short. Like, I'm sorry,
I'm
but it's
gonna be
nice to meet
honest.
you, but thank you very
I'm
much.
gonna-